Guys, what's going on? My name is Ryan. I trade leveraged ETFs and I like to make videos in the after hours and put them online for others to see. Starting off, we've got JNUG, LABU, UGAZ, UWT, ERX, ZIV, BRZU, SPXL, RUSL, and DRN that we're going to be covering today. Starting off, I was going to do JNUG, which I probably will on my shorter time frames, but it's getting kind of clogged up because I use that to trade with, and therefore I also use it to chart intraday action. Therefore, when doing my analysis, I like to do some longer term time frame, medium term time frame, short term time frame. Anyways, so just looking at Nugget right here on the hour chart, we did have this left shoulder, head and right shoulder, and the head and shoulders play out a little bit. However, I think it was successfully defended here at these levels. We can chart this right here and look at our Fibonacci level. Looks like this 50% retracement zone held firm, and it didn't follow through and continue dropping all the way down here. Instead, we saw a nice pop, and what I actually did is I drew these resistance lines here from the top of this head, connecting the right shoulder, and it looks like it's playing out here in an important way on this, retracement over here. I also drew a support line connecting the bottoms, touching right here, and then I drew one right through the middle of both of them just to, kind of mark as a 50% zone in between these. And we can see that the 50% zone actually was kind of important. I drew this, I think, 2 days ago, and it looks like on our pop, this is basically where we stopped, and we came back down. So looking at GDX, because I have a more thorough chart drawn out here, let's go to our daily and take a look at the long-term time frame. So long-term, we've got this big overhead resistance line right here, but we do see kind of a horseshoe forming. I drew this channel just to talk about the price action of the last 2 years, it looks like. This chart goes all the way back to 2012, so if we break above this resistance level, this is a huge break, and I think that we're getting to the apex here of this symmetrical triangle. Let's move to the 2 hour here on GDX, and we see here that I drew this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, and we fell back down obviously, and we set our A, B, C, D, E, and we're on this E wave right now. Now looking at our chart, we have this is the ideal symmetrical triangle chart right here, but we get A, B, C, D, E. We break out above this range right here, and we retest this support line, and then we move higher. I have this drawn out, what I expect to happen here in the blue arrows. However, I was looking at it last night, and given this 1 through 5 Elliott wave here, the correction, the ABC correction might be playing out. So I labeled this A, B, C. Let's see, what else do I have here? You see these timelines here. They mark pretty accurately the lows of the trading ranges, given equal weighted time in between each of them. So we've got a low here, a low here, a low here, and a low here. However, you see that in the middle of these trading ranges, you could also mark the highs. I didn't want to draw the timelines for the highs because I think that clogs up the chart we've got going on here, but it is significant to notice that we are just coming out across this previous low right here, and I could see us getting up to here when we enter the middle of this time trading range. So zooming in a little bit further with our ABCDE, I marked another Elliott wave here on the 30-minute. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we've got an A, B, C. We bounced off this 50% level very nicely with this wick right here. So this is an important level, and we shot up higher. So that's kind of what we expected to play out. Now let's go on our intraday action to check out what I saw in JNUG today, and potentially what I traded a little bit. So where I left off yesterday is I expected an ABC retracement. We didn't get that. I thought I saw a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was expecting it to go ABC and then go higher. Instead, we opened up this morning and we shot up. And basically all day we moved sideways. Unfortunately, we dropped back down slightly above the low of yesterday, I guess. However, what's significant is we do see a ton of volume coming in here. Here at the end of the day, and I think that's very interesting to keep in mind. Large volume precedes price. A lot of volume means that there might be a lot of price action coming up here. well, maybe we can do one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We might be setting in our A, B, C. You might see something like that. Let's just see if this harmonic works at all. I guess this harmonic plays out pretty well. Should be at the 1.286. I guess that could potentially be valid. Either way, we've definitely got a slow day today in the markets. We've got a bit of a channel going on here. Let's just draw this for our chart. Clone that. It's a pretty tight trading range. I don't know if we can call this a parallel channel exactly. This is going to be the next support line. If we break through this, I think we'll see the retracement all the way down there. All right, so that's gold. That's JNUG Nugget. Let's go on to biotech. I bought a lot of LABU today simply because we had a huge fall in it. And some interesting things happened today. We broke out of my symmetrical triangle that I had charted here, unfortunately. And I need to do some new, I need to see if there's a new support line here anywhere. Are we getting anything from this down here? All right, that's going to be our next level of support. It's right there. That should mark some fairly firm support range. However, I'm afraid of this scenario playing out, which is basically the bearish version of this, and it actually comes down and sets in this A, B, C, D, E, comes back, retests, and then goes lower. That's the bearish version of the symmetrical triangle, whereas previously, you know, always optimistic, I thought it was going to break out higher. However, I think that it does make sense for us to go to the other side of the channel that we have drawn here instead of moving higher in the middle of the chart. Let's see if we can mark some kind of a longer term move here. So given the price action today, I think that we can delete yesterday's prediction or yesterday's lines. This one played out, it looks a little bit more like this. So I actually caught this, which may or may not have been a good idea. Right now, after doing this analysis, I'm starting to think it might not be so much of a good idea, but you know, we'll play it by ear and see how it goes. Set those stops in. We could do this one, or we could go and make all three touch. Let's make all three touch. This 50% right here, this seems pretty important. So let's mark this down. See, we have a low, a high, and what very well might happen is the ultimate low might come down and touch right here. So let's go ahead and draw this as our final destination as of right now. We have a 78%, which is important. I marked a horizontal line right there before, and I marked one right here at the 38%. So I'm going to delete this since those lines mark all of the important trading ranges that the fib does. But right now, I'm really hoping that this, my low that I'm expecting it to go towards, before this bounce here, and probably try and sell out at about 26.75, 20 or 46.75, 46.70, 50, and hopefully get out without losing too much skin. Other than that, that's what I've got today for LABU. Anything on the 1 minute just of interest. This is where I bought, was down here because I saw this Kilroy bottom here on the 1 minute. It's kind of the opposite of a head and shoulders here at the bottom, but they both mark a bottom. And what's more is I saw this huge increase in volume pick up right here. So I'm really hoping right now that we can, you know, get back into this trading range. My original ABCDE might not be broken yet. We are reaching the apex right here. It might just be a false breakdown. It very well might go back up and continue its run. However, I find this prediction a little bit more believable other than just a straight shot back up. However, this apex right here is very important and we haven't quite reached it yet. So we'll have to see how that plays out. All right, moving on to UGAS, natural gas. Natural gas was somewhat boring today, somewhat interesting just because it is showing a propensity to bounce off this channel. I'm really happy that I bought quite a bit of UGAS down here and added quite a bit more as it ran up. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. So we see that yesterday I charted our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We broke down, setting our A, our B, and our final C down here. Right away you can see a change in volume from red to starting to turn green pretty significantly. What's interesting is my prediction yesterday for us to fall here with the blue arrow, and then I expected us to bounce back up, came true. I expected it to fall to this horizontal line marking this shoulder over here, this previous low over here. I thought that this was where it was going to bounce towards, but it actually fell lower and went off our previous resistance line here, and it rode that for a little bit, and then it just shot up and exploded higher. Had a stop limit buy set right here, and got in and rode most of this trade, and I actually had another limit buy down here after this pullback, and where it retested this previous resistance line. Resistance becomes support, and we definitely saw that today in UGAS. Let's see, let's go down to the smaller time frame for UGAS. I'm going to delete these lines since they're old now. That was just a prediction. If you like harmonics, you can definitely see a nice harmonic play out here. It came all the way up here. So this is what I'm talking about whenever I draw these. I think I've only drawn 1 or 2 of them before, but this is what I see here. And I usually see it when it makes the sharp move lower, and you can kind of draw this harmonic. Usually you like to have 1.68 and 1.78 here. Pretty dang close. I didn't draw this. I didn't trade based off of this. It's just something that you can see after the day's trading action is over with. It's pretty hard to catch these while the trade is going on, while the price action is moving. But if you can, and it starts to make this move up, you can be pretty sure that it's gonna, it's just one of those nice handy things to have in your tool belt. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that because I think it clogs up my chart a little bit. However, we set in our ABC. Now, what do we do here? We're gonna draw our Elliott wave. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, where's 5 going to come? I bet it's going to come all the way up here and test this horizontal resistant point from the previous high. So let's go ahead and draw this idea that we have here on the chart and see if it plays out all right in the coming days. Lastly, let's go ahead and draw this Fibonacci line. All right, so it looks like it came all the way down, 61.8, and 61.8 retracement correlates to a 121.4 or a 138.2, and look at that, 138.2 lines up pretty well with our horizontal line here. So that's what I'm expecting to on Monday for you guys. Let's move on to UWT, crude oil. So UWT, what can we notice first of all on the hour chart? We can notice right away that we are in this long-term downtrend channel. What do we have here? We've got a high, low, and a high, and then we fell back down, and this was to be expected. I'm in its inverse DWT, and right now I'm liking a lot of the things that I see in DWT. However, let's stick with the UW chart just because I like the long charts. Let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. Again, we have our time zones right here. Zoom into the 30-minute chart. Our time zones mark a low, a low, a low, a low, and a high. And our prediction yesterday was that we were going to set an ABC. So we've got an A here set, and it looks like we came up to this previous horizontal resistance line here at about 1730 and stopped for the day. Now that isn't just random that it stopped right there. This is an important resistance zone, and let's see, where did we get these lines from? Let's draw some Fibonacci. It looks like 38, 50, 61.8, and 78.6. So here's our Fibonacci zones right there. These lines are not just random. So in the coming weeks, I do expect this to fall quite heavily. Now, what I'm seeing in the DWT chart, which is not immediately evident in the UWT chart, is first of all, we've got this move right here. We've got this long-term downtrend, which was the uptrend in the other chart, hit our 78.6, which was my entry to buy, coupled with the fact that this time zone right here was pretty significant to me. How did I get this? I drew it from a low to a high, and we see that playing out here to a low to a high again, and we've got another one right here. So I think that we can expect some big moves coming up for DWT, but what's more interesting, if we go to a smaller time frame, is, you guessed it, this nice cup and handle that's playing out here. I'm going to show you guys it. So we've got this cup. And let's draw our handle. This was today's trading action, and I thoroughly expect it to go up to here come next week. Let's see, let's make this a little bit tighter. There is no Elliott wave I can really do on this. I mean, I guess there is. I guess we can do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We might have set in our A, B, C, but it's too small to really do Elliott wave here, which is why we turn to our cup and handle pattern. I don't know what else. It's extremely clear to me, this cup and handle pattern, and it's further supported by this over here, this little pattern taking place. Anyways, this is my analysis for crude oil. Let's go to ERX, energy. Let's go to the daily chart. Pretty complicated. The important thing to note is that we are in this long-term downtrend right here. Got a bigger channel and a smaller channel. Smaller channel captures about 80% of the price action. Bigger channel captures 100% of the price action. We have yet to break out above this upper channel and hold that for 3 days. So I still think that the 1 hour chart is a little bit too big, other than the idea that we have our Fibonacci right here, low to our high, and we are right at our 78.6 level of retracement. So let's go ahead and mark that. Next level of important retracement looks like the 50%, and I'm just going to leave it right there. So now that we have those drawn in, let's go ahead and delete this fib retracement level. You see our timelines right here. We have a low, a low, a low, a low, a high, and I think that this is the low right here. I actually saw this today, which was our harmonic, our A, B, C, D, which is pretty cool to be able to see in the trading day, and I bought a lot of ERX today after seeing that. I waited for it to come all the way down here and touch the top of our previous, our smaller channel. If you want to do some Elliott wave, let's go to the 30-minute. Let's go ahead and do some Elliott wave. So I see a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. The third wave is usually the longest wave, and I see an A, B, and a C. So that is my retracement on this. Going back to natural gas, UGAS, I found this really interesting thing today while just looking at the chart, looking at the long-term chart, and UNG is a different product, but it's basically UGAS unlevered. But basically, last year, 2016, March, April, May, we see that it's making the exact same pattern almost to a T. We have this long wave down, this wave up. We have this long wave down, this wave up. We have a retracement and up again, retracement, up again, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and then a big fall. Big fall. We're up here, and then we just set in a bunch of small, movements here. You see this over here on the right side, which is the past 2 months of trading. and it's followed by this huge spike up. And I think that I'm currently bullish on UGAS and natural gas in general. I don't think that this is just a happenstance. I don't think anything in trading is happenstance, but I think that this, the symmetry here is undeniable. And I'll be very interested to see if this plays out, and hopefully I'll come check back in on this in future videos. Going on to volatility, ZIV, right here, we've got this long, beautiful, sustained uptrend. And let's zoom into the 1 hour. We've got some price action that happened today. It was up 1.77%, it looks like. It's usually not a huge move for ZIV, but that's kind of the point, is that volatility, it's the inverse of the VIX, or UVXY. It's a leveraged inverse of the volatility, much like, DGAS is the inverse of UGAS. Anyways, let's zoom in a little bit more. We got this big drop down. There's a gap here. Actually, let's take a look at this gap. Yeah, so there's this gap fill right here, and it looks like we're trying to fill that. So potentially our ultimate destination is going to be up here. However, we see that we've got our, what did we draw yesterday? We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We never made an ABC retracement really, unless, you want to do ABC, but I think that that's too small of a retracement. Either way, coming into today's trading range, we had a ascending triangle going on here. So we come back, touch, and we have a 1, A, B, C, D, E. Now, volatility decided that it's not going to do that and just went ahead and continued to move up. And I love that in this vehicle. Find that volatility is going to remain and sustain pretty low, and it's only going to spike for short periods of time, and when it does, it usually corrects in a couple days. So I treat every single dip in XIV as a buying opportunity here. So I guess I do see a ascending triangle here coming out of an ascending triangle. We see that we have this nice, comes up, touches the top here. We set in a B, C, D, and technically we should set an E over here and then break out higher. So let's go ahead and mark that down. What our prediction is, I predict that we're going to fall down, break out above, retest, and then move higher. That's my prediction for volatility for the next weeks of trading. So let's go to Brazil, BRZU. Let's go to the 2-hour chart. And we see that we are in this channel, came down, respected this lower channel line, and bounced up pretty nicely here. I drew this smaller channel. Let's go to a smaller time frame on our way up. Okay, let's zoom back out. What we very well might see is this might just be bear flagging, and it might go up slightly and then fall down even further. However, we never, discount some bear flags, but in the meantime, we can try and trade the price action, and if it does fall, hopefully it'll hit our stop. So let's go to the 5-minute. Looks like this head and shoulders, which I talked about yesterday in my video, / cup and handle, played out pretty nicely. I think we got a big run right up here, and also our ascending triangle upper resistance line was respected very well. See, we have a touch, 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 false breakout, and a breakdown here. This is a very important level here. This, what is this? This looks like it's a 29.50 about price level. It's very important for us to get up over this. In order, I will have a stop limit buy order set for BRZU at about 29.80 here to make sure that we can clear these previous 2 high points and false breakouts. But right now, what do we see for the ascending triangle? Let's see if we can do any type of, so we got an A down here, call it a B, might have a C, D, E, and this might be what we see throughout the majority of next week's trading, is just this ascending triangle working its way out. Let's tighten these up a little bit. So let's go ahead and mark what our prediction is. Our prediction is that we're going to fall, we're going to come back up, and we're going to fall, and go up, retrace, and go up higher. We can actually put this into a higher category of a cup and handle, or a higher level. This was a pretty short term, this was a daily cup and handle I saw, but perhaps a weekly cup and handle would look a little bit more like this. And then it would break out and we would skip this E right here. Anyways, that's my short-term prediction for Brazil, 3 times ETF BRZU. Let's go into the market, SPXL. See what happened today. It was a very, very, very flat day. Low volatility all around. It was pretty hard to find any good entries or exits in a trade. I think that the market, after we have this breakout, you see right here in our chart that this happened pretty well. This is the bullish version of the ascending triangle, and we have a touch A, B, C, D, E. Breakout, retest, move higher. We can see that right here in touch, A, B, C, D, E. Breakout, retest, and usually retest fairly close to the apex point. So right now, I think that the market, let's zoom into the 30-minute, is just undecided on what to do, really. This is a bull flag. It's a very tight bull flag, so we might just skip this retest and shoot up higher. However, if we do stick with the technical chart in their entirety, we will see this retest playing out next week. Now, with my RSI, usually we will see the RSI come down all the way to the 50 level during a correct technical ascending triangle breakout. When it retests, we'll see this RSI move all the way down to the 50, but it won't break below it. It'll hit the 50 right when we retest the previous resistance line up here, and it'll move up higher and shoot up. So important thing to watch would be that this does not break below the 50 and that we move up higher here. Let's see if I can find an example of this on a shorter time frame. I guess this is kind of what we're looking for. So we see that the RSI moves all the way up into overbought territory. It flags for a long time. And right when we reach this, the low point is the same time that we start touching off this 50 RSI. And then when it shoots back up, our RSI moves back up. Now this wasn't, significant of a move really in the overall chart in the ascending triangle, but it'll be more dramatic and smooth, hopefully, for this breakout. So I'll be excited to watch SPXL next week. Let's move on to our last one, which is DRN, real estate 3 times ETF. What do we see here? We see the trading action for the past 6 or 7 months here. We see a high, low, high, and however, we did not get this ultimate low, which is a bullish signal actually. When a price moves and goes about halfway and stops and then moves back up, that kind of predicts a trend reversal and potential channel breakout. So I'm bullish on DRN right now. I think that real estate is going to see an increased move upwards, and we see that playing out. If you want to do some Elliott waves here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we had this fall. We have our A, B, C correction, and then we shot up higher. So what did I draw yesterday? Yesterday, I marked this horizontal line right here as an important line here in the price action. I also marked right here and up here. So my prediction yesterday was that we were going to either just continue on through and hit this level, but the more likely story was that we were going to retrace, get supported here at this 2140 and move up higher. And we saw that the latter prediction came true today. Let's see our fib levels. Looks like it came down and hit this 38.2, which is very bullish. If it can stick and hold this means that we will see a large run up and probably hit the top of this channel, because that's just the way that the fib and the Fibonacci extension levels work. For example, this is the Fibonacci extension now, 38, and the 121.4% retracement. is right here at the top of our channel, or we could see a breakout and go to 138. However, there is the chance that it will continue to fall and go back down to this 61.8. So let's also mark this possibility here. And we will have to see what plays out in the trading action of next week. Either way, I had a great week. I hope you did too. And this was my ETF analysis for today, May 26th. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please like, subscribe. Hopefully be putting out more videos in the future. So if you want to take a look at my thoughts, my technical analysis in the future, go ahead and like, follow, subscribe, whatever. It's up to you. Either way, have a great holiday weekend, and I'll see you next weekend or next week. Bye-bye.